Hey, everybody, this is Chill10974 coming to you here in another video. This is part of the hey, so you just started playing World of Warships Legends. So, we're going to start doing a specific series on the different types of ships and the general way on how to play those particular types of ships. So, today we're starting with destroyers. So, there are different types of destroyers out there. Now, these destroyers played a lot differently, and of course, it really depends on your play style. A lot of people tend to gravitate towards the Japanese destroyers and some of the Italian destroyers because they're sneaky little boats where you can spec them out for good, really good concealment. The Italian boats come with a lot of them come with rolling smoke, so they're able to do creepy YOLO attacks and stuff like that, and things of that nature. Or some people will gravitate towards gunboats, like some of the German line, the British line, and the American line, which have very good gunboats. About medium range torpedoes. Um, Decent to really good smoke protection. The British are a little bit different because they get shorter duration smoke, but they get a lot more of them, so they can actually and they come off cooldown pretty quick, so you're able to use them a little bit differently. And then there's a line. There's also the Pan Asian line, which kind of fits between the the Japanese Italian side and the American, German, and British side. They go in both directions. There is another group out there which are usually tougher to play, which are usually the French and the Russians. Um, the French, very fast, good torpedo boats, very fast, decent guns, bad turret traverse, and the mass majority, I'd say probably with the exception of one or two destroyers that they have out there, actually have smoke. So you have to play without smoke. The Russian line is just hard to play. Great gunboats, good flat trajectory on the guns, slow turret traverse, weak torpedoes, weak distance on the torpedoes. They do get smoked, but it's not a longer duration, and it takes a while for them to come off cooldown. And then there's the pan-European boats, which are just ridiculous high-speed torp boats. Some have smoke, some do not. Some have torpedoes, some do not. Great anti-aircraft ships, and those kind of like can bounce it back and forth, and um, so there that is. Now today, I'm just going to show you some of the basics of playing a destroyer. So what I did is I set up a training room, and we're going to go in and we're just going to show off some of the basic skills that you should have when playing a destroyer. Now there's different types of things that you want to have to do. One, in this particular scenario, so this is domination, so there's going to be cap control. In a destroyer, it's very important for you to do three major functions. One, take your cap. Take your cap, hold it to the best of your ability, and try to prevent the enemy from getting it. Two, very, very important thing, need to spot the enemy for your team. Find them, spot them, keep them spotted. Huge thing to do, because that will help your team go after the enemy team. And three, also equally important, is find, engage, and destroy the enemy destroyers. Take them out. Get them out of the game. Okay? A lot of people have a tendency to play destroyers as YOLO mobiles, or if there's carriers in the game, they just go around the edge of the map just to go out to try to torp the carrier, thus turning around and not doing the jobs that they're supposed to be doing. And it takes away vital spotting and cap control, which is kind of what we really aiming to do. Now, once we've taken care of a lot of our objectives, then we can go after the fat battleships and the carrier and stuff like that. But it's very important to be able to do the things that are necessary to do. So let's get into a game and try to show you kind of a general idea of what to do. Okay, let's get that in there. Boom. So the map we're going to be using is Neighbors, and we're going to go in and we're going to take care. We're going to we're going to look at the setup, see what we're up against, and also see where we are, where we spawn, and compare in conjunction of where the closest cap is. All right, so we see we're on the left side. We're on the left-hand side. So we're going to be heading for the C, the C cap. So that's where we're going to go. So let's take a look. What do we have? So we have 2 Japanese destroyers. We have a Kangaroo and a Nakazuki. We have a Hipper and Albemarle. We have a Cleveland on the other team. So that means we have a radar cruiser on the other side. So if it spawns over here, it's going to be trouble. And then we have 4 battleships: the Vladivostok, Bismarck, Vanguard, and Kansas. All right. So here we go. Now we're playing the USS Black. It's an American American Fletcher class destroyer. This one here, it's a little bit slower than the Fletcher. That doesn't come with the engine boost, but it comes with that really good high duration smoke, and it comes with something very important. It comes with radars. So it's about 7 or so kilometers on the radar. All right, as you can see, right off the rip, we were able to spot a Bismarck. If you notice, see the ribbon pop up, saying that we get a spotting ribbon. Now, the points, how you collect points in this is a lot different in a destroyer than it is in other ships. A lot of it's based on damage and kills. This, being in a destroyer, is not based solely on damage and kills. It's based on capture points, spots, always huge, area denial. So if someone goes into if you get someone into a cap, you can, get defense ribbons or stuff like that. So now we see we have an enemy destroyer. We have a Kangaroo. It's coming up. So what is our first job? To go ahead and engage that destroyer. As you see, we got the guns going. So now we have that destroyer spotted. Guess what? Team is firing at him, and we've taken that out. Now we've noticed we've taken a little bit of damage, so now we can do this. We can hit the brakes. Now we know we have a Bismarck coming, so let's smoke up. So we're in the cap. We've already got we got 1 kill, so we've taken out a destroyer. So now we're going to do cap control. So we still have 39 seconds left before we can cap. So unfortunately, the Bismarck is in here, so it's contesting it. So now we're going to do torpedoes. Let's put out some torpedoes. Now the other thing about the Black is the torpedoes are long range and slow. So now we want to be able to move. We're probably going to have to leave the cap because the Bismarck is going to get within the automatic detection range. Okay, so now we've done some damage, got some floods. Now, luckily one of our battleships is in there. So we have some concealment. Let's fire our guns. And there you go. Now let's get back into the cap. Get some cap control. All right, so we're back in. Now everybody's game is a little bit different. I really am a person who prefers the gunboats. I like having the rapid fire 5-inch guns on the American destroyer line, especially when you can spec them for 3 seconds or less when firing. All right, so now we have the cap done. So now we're going to move this way. So you know what? We're far enough away. Let's engage. especially when you can see that the ship is engaged somewhere else. We can start doing a little bit of this, that, and the other thing to them. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing with the Vanguard. Now, if you notice, we're going to keep taking a look inside there. We notice that the guns are in another direction. There we go. So it kind of helps a little bit give you a general idea of kind of how you want to play it. Now, it's a little bit off in such a way that we went in and the battleship was charging into the cap. But especially you start seeing a lot of the German German battleships, German cruisers, German destroyers. The German battleships come in because they have secondaries, and really good secondaries for the most part. A lot of them carry torpedoes, so they have a tendency to be a little more aggressive. Some of the Italian boats, some of the Italian battleships will be aggressive also. Uh, you got to watch out for those because they have SAP and they really chew up a destroyer, especially in a little thin-skinned destroyer that we're in. Um, going back to the German destroyers, they all carry sonar. Some of the British ships carry sonar. Luckily, we were lucky that the American cruiser with radar didn't spawn on our side, because they'll pop that radar and they can pick us up. And the American radar is really good, longer duration, decent distance. But let's take a look at the end results here. So we were able to fire our guns. We got 38 target hits. We got 3 torpedo hits, which we were pretty lucky. We sunk 2 sets of fires flooding. But here's the 2 things at the very end that we want to make sure that we very much acknowledge. So assisted capture is really huge. Make sure we get those capture or assisted capture and those detection ribbons. Those things are absolutely huge when it comes to playing a destroyer. And you can have games in destroyers where you can do 15, 20,000 damage max. Maybe get a kill, maybe not. But you can still get in the top 3 of your team if you're doing your job, getting spots, getting caps, and making sure that we harass and push off the enemy destroyers. So that's kind of in a nutshell how you want to play that. Now, the destroyer play itself is different. Like I said, it's within a gunboat, so you want a gunboat. You want to use those guns to your benefit. Those fast reload, fast turret traverse. But you also notice where the trade-off is that using ships like the Black and the Fletcher, they do have their torpedoes are a little slower than the Black. They're very slow. We call them sea turtles because they take forever to get over where they got to go. But they have incredible range. They have shorter range on the Fletcher, a little bit faster. But again, it's all on how you play it. But in general, getting how I explained how to play a destroyer is kind of how you want to do it. So, with that being said, let's go back really quick. Let's bounce out of the training room. So I'm going to go back to the ship itself. I'm going to show you a couple of different types. So we have the Black and the Fletcher. So these are tier 7 ships. So you can go back and if you're new to the game, you're going to be playing a lot lower tiers. You're gonna love ships like the Clemson, the V-22. There's so many fun ships down in the lower tiers you can play as a destroyer, both premium and tech tree. We have the Summers, which is a little bit for an American line boat. That's for American line ship. It's more of a torpedo boat, but the guns are very good on this. As you can see, it carries 8 5-inch guns. The turret traverse and the rate of fire are a little slower, but these things really do pack a punch. So let's get down this way. Let's go take a look at the next group. So we have the Japanese boats, which are built a little bit different. Now these ships, the Akazuki, the Kagero, well, the Akazuki Comes with a torpedo booster, torpedo reload booster, so you get the torpedoes back a lot faster. Um, and a lot of these ships here are going to play to more of stealth. So go into specs, concealment. You see detectability 4.9. I mean, my Fletcher class destroyers are 5.3, so you get more concealment in these. So these are a little more built for being sneaky. We can move forward here, giving more of an idea. Here's the Lightning. Now these ships, you notice here, you have more smokes, and it comes with sonar, so you can detect incoming torpedoes, and if you get within a certain distance, you can actually pick up ships too. But these smokes here, there's 6 of them. Usually, you get about 2 or 3, even with fully packed. Uh, but these are short duration smokes, but they also come off cooldown a lot faster. So we keep going down this way. So the primary ships down here, you're going to find like the ZF6. Hold on a second. I have it here. I do apologize. Z23. No, I haven't spec'd this out, but the Z23 is a good utilitarian destroyer. Good firing rate, decent turret traverse, good torpedoes, good longer duration smoke, and what it has that 5.5 kilometer German sonar, which actually makes this ship really tough. And there's also another line. These are the bigger gunned destroyers. They can really wreak havoc on some cruisers and such. So we'll get into. Do we have any of the French ones? I do not. Oh, that's my bad. Well, we got one of the Italians. A lot of these are kind of based. Now, this one is called the Polo Emilio. If anybody is familiar with World of Warships PC, the Mighty Jingles calls this the YOLO Emilio because this thing's got a gimmick. It's got rolling smoke. So if you see the red line with the red lettering on there, it's got rolling smoke. So that means you can go full speed ahead in this thing, and you can generate smoke. And this thing actually has 3 racks of torpedoes in it, and yeah, you do exactly that. You roll up on people and just torp them into oblivion. Now, here's one of those really weird ships that doesn't have torpedoes, but these guns are ridiculous. This is the Friesland. This is a premium destroyer. This thing is a destroyer killer. It's also a good cap control and a fire spammer to boot. These guns, if you spec them out right, you can literally get a rate of fire somewhere in the ridiculous range of like 1.5 and 1.6 seconds. It's ridiculous. It has 2 turrets. The turrets are quick. The ship itself is not that quick. It probably does about 35 knots. That comes with an engine boost. It comes with American style deployable smoke, and it comes with sonar, which I believe about 4.5 kilometers. Let's take a look. Yeah, about 4.5 kilometers. Look at that. So we have 4.5 kilometer sonar on this. Here's another interesting boat. Here's one of the other Pan-Europeans. Again, this one does not come with smoke. Great defensible AA though. Same thing with the Friesland. These things are ridiculous when it comes to anti-aircraft. Now this thing here's got torpedoes that scream out about 80 knots. They're ridiculous, and it comes with a heel. One of the few destroyers that do. There's one in Tier 6, the USS Kidd, that comes with a heel. Great gunboat. Now here's the Jaeger. This is another one that comes with a heel. This is a World War I style destroyer. They put it in the Tier 7 to Tier 7 Premium. This thing just poops out torpedoes. It's kind of ridiculous, and it has a torpedo boost. And then you have the Lo Yang and the Northern Dragon. Now these are American and British based destroyers. So you're gonna get faster reload times, good guns on these things. This thing comes with sonar that's really, really good. This one has a torpedo boost, so a reload boost. So I hope that kind of helps you out a little bit when it comes to starting and playing a destroyer. Try to make it as simple and easy as possible. So just when you start playing a story, just be very careful, understand what you're doing, and just kind of play within the rules. You'll find out you don't have to go out there and do a ton of damage to be able to score really well and get good XP in a destroyer. So with that being said, I hope you like what you're seeing here. So if you see this video, make sure you hit the like button below. Very much appreciated. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. Great, and hit that notification bell so you know when the next edition of the Chill Zone comes on. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. So next one we're going to be doing is going to be talking about basic cruiser play. So I hope everyone is out there, has a lot of fun. Peace out and turn the tide.